Hey everyone, and welcome to this faceless tech demo show. Why faceless, you ask? Because it's not the face, it's not the voice, but it's the content that matters. Today, I would like to show you a demo of a few chat systems that personally I have used. And I had a question on my mind today since I had a bit of free time with the holiday season and a few days off from work. And I thought, hey, I have these chat systems that I have experience with. Why not put them to a test? Before I start, I would like to have a bit of a disclaimer so things are clear and we get this out of the way. I am not paid by anyone to make this test. This is simply my desire to make this test in order to see out of all of the tools that I have access to and that I am using, which one behaves the best for my situation. The problem is quite simple. I have the settings.json of VS Code, and I have around 301 lines of settings. I would like to have them organized by type and to be sorted because right now it's very hard for me to keep track of what is what and where. And therefore, I wanted to put to test all of the copilots that I have access to. GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Windsurf, and Sourcegraph Cody. I'm going to start with Copilot first, since it's the OG of copilots and is also probably the most popular given the install base. I will use the same prompt and the same model in all of the cases, which is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And the prompt is, as you can see from the chat instance. We will be looking for a couple of things and judging the results of each copilot. The speed, the accuracy, and the result of every copilot. So let's start with Copilot from GitHub. No prompt, latest version, pre-release. It says there's only one file in this folder, settings.json, and let's test it. Immediately, I see a problem. It says that settings.json, the current file, is selected, but in fact, I only got around 38 lines of code. As such, the output will be limited. This is a problem, but let's try like this. Let's do add file to chat, and let's see if I can remove the context, the chip for settings.current file. It doesn't work. But let me just copy the prompt and try again with the file added manually. And let's see if we get more than 40 lines of code. I would have expected for me not to have to do this because it showed me that the current file was selected, and therefore I expected the entire file to be read and to be sorted as I have prompted to do so. Okay, it seems that if I added the file manually, it read the entire file. And now let's look a bit at Sonnet output speed. To me, it feels a bit slow. But we will compare the speed with the other copilots as well. And I'm not going to give it such a low score just because the output is slower, although having a faster system is definitely a big plus. Okay, let me copy now the content, paste, and right here, I see a couple of issues. First of all, I'm getting only 213 lines, and I'm getting the dreadful existing spell checks words, meaning that GitHub decided that it is lazy and it does not want to give me the entire output. As such, not fulfilling its task of giving me the sorted JSON because somehow it decided that it wants to say ... you add things manually. This is a major fail for me. I have tried. I have tried with having the initial file, like the current file. I have tried to give it the entire file, and it refused to perform the task I asked it to. No prompts, no nothing. I expect this workflow to be done by any developer without having to know to massage the LLM, to write rules, to tell it not to do things. And we will check the level playing field of all of these copilots, and we will see how everything behaves. Okay, now we're going to go to the next most popular plugin, which is probably Cursor. Not really a plugin, as this is a VS Code fork, but I wanted to show you that I have no AI rules. I am using the latest available version. And I'm going to go now to the same 300 line JSON. And I want to copy the same prompt and see what we get from Cursor. And also using Sonnet 3.5. As I see, it was a lot faster to start thinking and also to start outputting content. I also noticed that it's a bit faster than GitHub Copilot. But let us see what kind of result we get in the end. From what I've seen, it already failed my test because, again, it refused to add everything. I've already noticed some keeping existing word list. Okay. So, but let's check. We get 212 results here, and we get 212 results here. So if we compare the Copilot with Cursor, we get similar results. Okay, let us check that the whole file was used, and indeed the whole file was used. And again, for me, this is a failure because I expected the entire output. Let's go now to Windsurf. I am using the latest version. As you can see, only one file, the same settings.json. And I have Sonnet settings. I'm going to use the chat option. I don't want it to write anything. And let's see what kind of reply we get from Windsurf. I have a problem already. Although I have the entire settings.json passed, I see that it has analyzed only the first 100 lines. I don't understand why would this happen. I really expect when I add as context a file, the entire file to be read by the chat systems and for everything to be properly added. Unfortunately, they seem to be very lazy and will simply read whatever it wants to read and then try to output. I don't know the speed wise because it has all of this extra agentic with generating, but not really showing you what is happening. I'm going to copy the output, paste, and okay, I seem to get only 97 lines of code. Fine. I will do something. I will copy my prompt, add a new conversation, but before I do anything, I would like to ensure that I have everything selected. No, I'm trying to select everything. Here, hit chat. And now I see that I have everything selected. Paste the same prompt and let's try again. Maybe we get better results if we force it and we give it the file content from line 1 to 301. We don't know. I preferred the way cursor behaved where it took like a second and it already started to generate content. Unfortunately, it failed to give me the proper content because it decided that it wants to be lazy. It's still generating something. Yes, there was a duplicated line, which I was curious if they were going to find this, and it seems that they did. I think when I checked, Sonnet behaved similarly with all of the other chat systems, but let's just wait and see. I'm surprised that it's still generating. I don't want to copy this result because there might be a difference, but actually, let's just check. Let's copy the first one. Let's see how many lines. 340. Okay. And let's check out the second one. 340. Okay. I wonder, let's do a file compare active 2, 3. Let's see if there's any difference between them. No, they are, it seems that both files are the same. So maybe I could have avoided waiting, but I didn't know what was happening since I was waiting for it to stop generating. It seems that I got better results than I got from Copilot and also Cursor. Just to be fair, I'm going to go back and perform the same, but now I will try to add manually the item, add the chat, and let's see if there's a difference in output. Because maybe I moved too quick and I didn't do the same thing which I did with Copilot and I did with Windsurf, to manually pass from line 1 to 301 and for us to see if we get any difference. If this happens, I'm still quite disappointed because, When I see the entire file as context, I expect everything to be read and for it to be no difference from having it as so or selecting Control all, and then add to chat. Interesting, it appears that if I do with add everything to chat, it's no longer lazy. But let us wait. It seems that it's done. And see how many lines we get. 292. And now it appears that I no longer get the lazy items. It's interesting how it ensured that we have proper JSON, because you can have JSON comments, and it opted to add as such. Actually, like this. And I haven't seen the same thing with Windsurf, where you can see that the IDE is telling me that comments are not permitted in JSON. This is actually a plus. But I do not like the fact that I had to select manually to get it to work. Okay, now let's go to Cody. Cody is a bit different from Cursor or Windsurf because it is a chat plugin which has the disadvantage of not being so tightly integrated with the editor like we have with Windsurf, with Cursor, and I would dare to say even GitHub Copilot, since Microsoft owns both Copilot and VS Code. But I would like for it to test it, and let's see again. We select Claude Sonnet. We go to the settings, and we ensure that we do not have any prompts. And let me remove that pre-instruct. So we have no prompts. And one thing that I would like to say, I would like to give a special shout out to Prenova. I am actually using a community build that he has created. And if you would like to get more info, I suggest you go to his GitHub page and check out everything that this community fork provides besides the features that are coming from Sourcegraph itself. This awesome feature that I love to have is this display of tokens, because every model that is being used has a certain limit, and it's awesome to see exactly where you are at. So again, Prenova, special shout out to you and for your fork. It's really awesome to have this feature here, making it easier for us developers to work with Cody. Again, now we're going back to our test. As you can see, again, I'm only using the settings.json. And let's check out how Cody behaves. If we look at the speed, you can see that it is a lot faster than GitHub Copilot, faster than Cursor, faster than Windsurf, And let's see if it's lazy or not. I was actually shocked when I've seen how fast it is at displaying content. 287. And let's see if we get any of those dreadful comments that, okay, add content here. I don't see it. It's not valid JSON because, yeah, you can't have comments in it. So in that matter, I liked more what Cursor did, but I don't care because I could actually add it as such in settings.json of VS Code and it would work. It wouldn't break just because it is like that. Notice, I didn't have to give it any add everything. I didn't have to babysit it. It was really fast and it got the job done in one swoop. You know, just to entertain me, I would like to try the prompt again and to select everything just like we did with the others and to see if we get any sort of of um of difference between selecting everything and or not. Add selection to Cody chat. I'm going to remove the original file and paste the prompt and let it cook. I don't know how they're able to render so fast, especially because Cody is like a web app, which is simply rendered within the extension panel. The others have like native integration and they are not as fast. Okay, there is a bit of a difference. But if we are looking, there is no situation where it got lazy. I don't know why there's a bit of a difference. It seems that it opted to put the spelling below the workbench. I actually preferred this version because I wanted it to be sorted. And for me, W comes way after C, but I would fault more Sonnet than actually Cody. This is a very naive test, and maybe if you test it, it might behave different. I don't know. I plan to put the settings and the output for each system and for you to be able to inspect and check out the difference. For me, I can draw a couple of conclusions. First of all, Copilot is slow and lazy, at least when using Sonnet. I would not use Copilot as a Sonnet wrapper. In Cursor, the speed was a bit better. I like the fact that it had added the comments as JSON key and value pairs so that it's valid. I did not like the fact that I needed to select the context in order for it to work. But it was not the only one that needed this babysitting. With Windsurf, it had the same problem where you needed to give the same content. I did not like the fact that I had to wait so long for things to generate. I am surprised that we have more results than the original file, even though we do have a couple of lines. I don't think that amounts to 30 extra lines, and I would be curious to check the result and see what is going on. There is extra things happening with Windsurf. If I were to use a chat system in order to solve this problem, it would for sure be Cody. Cody still has some problems, such as not having the ability to add image context. But again, in the fork that we have from Prenova, there is actually support for Flash 2.0. I hope this was useful to you. It was a shock to me that Cody won and won handily. I've been a user since the start of the year, and I did not expect it to win simply because, again, it's not as deeply integrated in the system like the other copilots. And I don't know what they're doing with the speed, but the rendering is miles ahead of the other copilots, and kudos to them. If you like this sort of video and you would like for me to do more tests, let me know in the comments. I have a few more ideas in my head on things that I want to test for myself and see which of these copilots win. And maybe this way it can help me create a picture in my head of what system is best to be used for what and in what combination. If something is worth using continuously, if something is not and it needs to be dropped from the list, it's too early to tell. But yes, just notice and be careful that just because you use a model does not mean it will output the same as in the other copilots, and you need to check and not just rely on one copilot and thinking that it sucks or it doesn't, because the best way to find out is to perform your own testing and then use it however you want. Because at the end of the day, it's not the systems that matter. They're just tools that are here at our disposal, and we should make use of them however we seem fit in order for us to get the job done. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys and for you to tell me what sort of situations you ran into in which plugin was better than the other. Thank you for viewing, and I wish you all a great day.